Alright, well, today we're going to do a part 2 to the series. I don't have a name for it yet, so I'm just going to be titling it whatever the fuck I feel like towards the end of the video. But today I'm going to be talking about something kind of controversial among the For Honor community. It is going to be the argument of comp versus casual. Because having been obviously in both sides early on, I really disliked comp players. I hated them with a burning passion. I was just a little honest shaman player who streamed on Twitch and just wanted to get views and shit, and I quickly went from that to having transitioned into a player who likes to play competitively. I mean, at one point I played competitively, now I just play more MM, but I transitioned into a player who likes to do ganks and do the right rotations and, you know, wait for tags and rotate out to go heal. And I feel like a lot of people in the casual side, especially a lot of content creators, hate that side of the game. They don't like it. They always complain if they have comp players, if they have players who have done comp or know any sort of confirms, and just essentially, in my opinion, players who play the game correctly. And when I say play the game correctly, it's kind of, I guess, dependent on the person, but in my opinion, what I think should be done, at the very least in Dominion, is it's obviously a game mode about strategy and about teamwork. So obviously, I believe that Dominion should be played in the sense of like good rotations. You know, if your teammate needs help, you help him. You make call-outs. You gank. You do basically what you need to do to make sure that your team comes out on top. So that's what I think playing the game correctly looks like. Now, to other people, it may not seem that way, but you tell me in an objective-based game mode where you have a team that you're not supposed to play the game like that, and I'll probably tell you that you're stupid. But that's kind of what I believe it should be played like. So, having been on the side where I didn't like comp players, I understand it to an extent, right? Like, y'all just want to get on, play the game, press buttons, and just enjoy yourselves, and I understand that. But at the same time, you have to realize, like, a lot of people get mad because they verse higher level players, players who know the game, players who, you know, have been doing this for a while. They get upset at that. What I would tell a lot of casual players is that you have to realize just because they're ganking and doing all these like advanced things that you don't know how to do doesn't necessarily mean they're tryharding on you. Because what I get a lot from like when I play with my stack, and like by no means do I think like my stack is like the highest of the high. There's a lot of people who like absolutely destroy us. But what these casual players and these streamers need to know is that just because it's you, we're not trying hard. Like just because you think that you're, it's gonna sound fucked up, but just because you think that you're special doesn't necessarily mean that we care about who you are. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to say it to be rude, but a lot of people think like, oh, because I'm a streamer, this guy's trying harder. And granted, some people do that. Some people are assholes and they're like, I'm just gonna try to ruin the streamer's day. But at the end of the day, realistically, we learned how to play the game in this specific manner. We enjoy it this way. This is how we like playing the game, obviously, because we got into it. We learned it. We took the time to actually figure out how to gank, how to watch tags, how to rotate, how to do every necessary thing in Dominion to try and win. And so just because we're playing a specific way doesn't necessarily mean that we're over here trying to make you angry or anything. I feel like it's more of like, sometimes I feel like casual players have just about the same ego as comp players. The only difference is the comp players actually play the game to a higher level, to the point where obviously usually their ego ends up winning versus the casual side. But realistically, what casual players just need to understand is you're not the center of attention in everybody's eyes. Some people just genuinely play like that, and if you feel like they're sweating, it just means they're better. Because odds are those people, or at least half of them, are not even trying. They're leaned back, they're just chilling, talking and whatever, just enjoying the game, but enjoying the game the way they know how to play it. And I say this because that is my stack. That is what we do. We verse a lot of casual players. Like in this video that's playing right now, these Exiled guys, they're casual, but they're very chill about it. Exiled Beast, he's a very chill dude. He knows that we play a certain way, and you know, he was trying to run away from us in this video if you looked, and he was trolling. That's fine. It's like, you know, he told us after, if I knew how it was gonna go down, I was just doing what I could, and you know what I'm saying? I appreciate that. At the very least, he's not salty like a lot of people. The thing is, when you watch somebody, or like not even when you watch them, but just in general, and like you gang somebody, they start to get egotistical and say, oh, you guys are ass, you guys are just hand holding, you guys are doing this, you guys are doing that. Like, I'm sorry, I'm playing the game how it was meant to be played with the team. You know, like I'm sorry that I learned how to play the game and what I do works because they added it to the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could easily learn just like anybody else. You just choose not to. A lot of people have this thing where they say, I could be a comp player if I wanted to, or I could be this good if I wanted to. I just don't want to. And I'm like, that's fine, but I guarantee if you throw them into that world, a lot of these people probably would lack the skill and, like, you know, like the brain to actually comprehend some of these things. So a lot of the people who say that, I feel like, are kind of just people who get on and press buttons. You know, they don't even like know the basics of, like, for example, some of these guys probably can't even light parry consistently, or, you know, they lose fights over dumb things like not knowing frame dis and frame advantage and things like that. Like, I feel like mechanically these guys are saying they could be comp players if they wanted to, but they lack basic skills. I don't know. I'm just speaking of what I, having been on that side, like, I get it, but at the same time, like, it's just how it goes. You want to get better, you learn how to play like this. You don't want to get better, that's fine. Enjoy the game, do your thing. I wanted to learn just because I felt like it was time. There was a lot of players ganking and stuff when I was streaming on Twitch, and I felt like I need to move up to the next level. I need to get better. And one of my friends, he basically taught me how to play the game, how to not feed venge, how to do certain ganks. Back then I was shaman, so I was doing shaman gank, you know, counter GB, bleed, fight over and over. But I basically came up like that, and I was like understanding, like, yeah, this is actually really fun. Once you actually understand how to do things like that, it's really, really fun. And I had my little phases where we were in a team. I was in a team with some homies before. We did some tournaments, we did the scrims, and then after that team, I joined not so much a team, but my current friend group. We kind of just clicked up, and we did a couple tournaments, we did a couple scrims. You know, the Shaboing Boing Warriors. Shout out the Shaboing Boings. And yeah, we kind of just had fun with it. I mean, as of right now, we're kind of just doing but that doesn't mean I don't enjoy finding those games that are like competitive. Those are really fun. I think the annoying part is when there's a lot of ego involved, and this is probably a topic for another video, but when there's a lot of ego involved in those fights, that's when it probably gets a little more like annoying, just because you're versing this team who's like, oh, I know these fuckers are probably better than me, like certain players that I won't name anybody, but these motherfuckers are like toxic as shit, or they don't like me. And some people just haven't liked me from like from the beginning, since I was streaming on Twitch. And so obviously they start bagging, and like, you know, for the most part, you kind of try not to give a shit because it's like whatever. Like, these motherfuckers are sitting here playing this game a lot, like every day, nonstop. But at the same time, it's like, you know, it does get kind of annoying because you're like, oh, I don't know why these fuckers don't like me, but it's whatever. So the competitive side is interesting, to say the least. But when you get those matches that are really fun and the people on the opposite team are really cool, and you kind of just say your GGs, you move on, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, there might be a little bit of anger towards losing. Nobody likes losing. Me personally, I hate losing. It actually infuriates me, but it infuriates me for that game. I'll recover the next game, it's whatever. But those games are really fun. Those are the games that, you know, you enjoy, and you're like, wow, this is really fun. This is what we enjoy. Like, that's what the casual players fail to understand, is like, we're not looking for you. We're looking for other players near our skill level that will give us the challenge that we want, because we actually enjoy these competitive games a lot. You just so happen to cross into our path, and now you're gonna get ganked and stuff, and unfortunately for you, you know, just deal with that for a game and then leave. You don't have to stay in ego the second match saying these guys aren't that good, we could beat them, and then just get beat again and then just cry about it. But realistically, that's kind of like what I wanted to talk about more or less in this one. Just the fact that like a lot of casual players hate, like, you know, the optimal play style, and that's fine. y'all can hate it, but at the end of the day, I feel like it's not going anywhere. Even if these other changes came through in the future, that they were gonna nerf like the revenge, or not the revenge, the ganks or whatever, like it's still gonna be a thing. It's just gonna be a little different. Nothing's gonna change the fact that like people are always gonna gank in this game. But I personally think that the competitive aspect is what's keeping this game alive. I just wish that Ubisoft would introduce better tutorials to further lead people into the direction of playing competitively or optimally versus what they teach you, which is basically absolutely nothing but the bare minimum. Like I said in my first video, they really don't teach you shit. They kind of just say, here's a sword, here's a fucking axe, go in the battlefield and have fun, or get fucking destroyed and don't have fun. I guess I could say. But yeah, for those people who are those casual players, trust me when I say you're not that special. A lot of us don't care who you are. We're just trying to play the game and enjoy it. And to those who are actually being hunted by comp players, what can I say? Some of these comp players are dickheads. Like, it is what it is. Take the L and move on, because you're probably not going to beat them. But that being said, on the other end, some of these like content creators or some of these just casual players in general, you guys also have a ginormous ego, and some of you guys are also like dickheads. So I can also see why somebody would want to humble you at the same time. Like me personally, I don't go out of my way to do that, but I go see somebody, bro. Like I'll watch a stream just because I want to fuck with them, you know. I want to like, you know, be cool with them, and I want to go watch the stream. And these motherfuckers will be like having the biggest egos and like for no reason, like to other random casuals that they're like fighting against. And I'm like, okay, once karma comes around, don't be upset, because at the end of the day, you reap what you sow. But yeah, that's pretty much all the things I wanted to cover, I think, in this video at least. You know, I still don't have a name for the series, so I'll have to figure one out eventually. But thank you guys for coming by. If you came to watch the video, if you dropped a like, if you commented, or whatever the case may be, I really appreciate it. And you know, some people gave me some really positive feedback after I posted that last video, so it feels good. I appreciate y'all watching and you know, taking the time out of your day to hear me fucking yap about For Honor. And yeah, I'll probably catch y'all in the next one.